Following program is for training purposes in TV news education. Some copyrighted material is used and is credited on screen. However, no more was taken than was necessary to tell the story of the event. YBA claims fair use of materials.
Welcome back to Wicked Teen. I'm Daniel Pavlovsky, here with my co-host Hannah and Carol Sereda. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
All right, and today's topic is going to be dancing, something very near and dear to me that I've been doing for many years. And Carol here is the owner of Sereda Danceworks. Is that right?
That's right. We're located in the center of Natick.
And tell me what Sereda Danceworks does. What do you guys specialize in?
We offer ballet, dance, modern dance, jazz, hip hop, from preschool to teen and adult.
That's great.
So tell me a little about your boys' classes. How many boys do you have in your studio versus girls? Like, what's the percentage that you have there?
Girls definitely have a bigger percentage, and we're excited to say that the boys are coming in more and more. There's a lot of popularity with the hip-hop and the b-boy style. So we have a young crew of b-boyers, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and an older crew. We're hoping to get into ballroom dancing now that we have some boys who can partner up with our tons of girls.
That's awesome.
That's great, yeah. And last week you guys had a wonderful show where you guys showcased your b-boys and your, what was it called, a flash mob?
That's right. First time I've ever saw a flash mob, all I could do was smile. And there's scads of them on YouTube. They belong in Natick Center as well. We did Michael Jackson's Beat It and Bad. It's a feel-good community event. Kids, moms, dads, dancers, non-dancers can all be a part of it. We had a lovely crowd.
That's wonderful.
So you decided to do a flash mob because you've seen one before and you thought it was great. How much preparation went into doing your flash mob? Did you have auditions, or did you just use people that were in your dance studio?
It's a very inclusive event. People who want to try to be a dancer for a day, a moment, and they feel like they can fulfill that in this one event, they'll rehearse maybe 4 or 5 times. For folks who want to bone up on stuff, there'll be available footage through the website, so they'll rehearse with that. Come in, learn it all together, get a grouping, and we do it in 5 weeks.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And we'll now talking about preparation, going a little back further. You've been dancing since you were 9 years old. Is that right?
That's right.
You've been dancing since you were 9. And how'd you get into dancing?
I grew up in New Jersey and New York. My New York area, and my sister started. So when she retired her ballet slippers, I inherited them. I was lucky enough to study with some really good people in New Jersey and some Juilliard staff from New York. So being that close to dance and the arts, it was a rich environment. I was able to also get a large influence from modern dance, also in New York, from Alvinelli American Dance Theater.
That's great. And you slowly started working, you taught for the Boston Ballet?
For many years.
For many years. And you traveled also, I hear?
I toured in Europe, toured the States and in Europe with various companies where we danced modern and ballet repertory.
And so when did you start your studio?
The studio's been here for a long time under the umbrella of the Center for Arts in Natick, TCAN. We've recently gone independent and are now in a new space for 2 years now, right down the street from the Center of Natick.
That's great.
So what made you want to teach? Like, were you just so involved with dance that you just wanted to keep going?
When I was young, I started as a student teacher. When I was able to teach stories and the love of dance to another child, then I knew that I could develop the same love that I have. So it's a passion I think I've never grown out of. And when I find new ways to do it every day, I know that it's something that I'll be doing for a long time.
So when you teach your students, do they all start off with the base of ballet, like learning ballet as their basics?
Most of the youngest ones will, and then if they want to delve out into hip hop, jazz, or modern, they'll continue a ballet background to give it its strength and core. There's some students who are with us today, Emma and Julia, and they can tell us more about their development of their studying styles.
Hi, Emily and Julia. How are you? Emma and Julia, I'm sorry.
Good. Yeah, we're really well.
So tell us, how long have you been dancing?
Well, I've been dancing since I was in first grade, so that's about 7 years now.
And I've been dancing for about 3 years.
That's great. And both of you do ballet?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you've been doing ballet now. What do you do as a side note? Like, do you only do ballet, or do you do modern, or do you do competitions? What else do you do in dancing?
I do ballet, modern, jazz, hip hop, and I compete with contemporary.
Mm-hmm. And I don't do much of the competition thing. It's not really my scene, but I do ballet, jazz, and modern dance.
That's great.
So what are your favorite styles of dance? Either that you do or that you like to see?
I would have to say my favorite is contemporary, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And like lyrical, which would be my favorite, it's sort of like contemporary. I just think it's so pretty, like the movement and just the way it's presented.
That's great. So do you guys only dance, or do you play any instruments or do any sports as well?
I do other things. I do soccer and I play guitar and sing.
Yeah, dance is the only thing I do. I just have it so much. I have no time for anything else, really.
So Emma, would you like to go to college? Would you like to go to Juilliard for dance?
I would like to minor in dance. I don't think I would make it a big career, but it's definitely something I really like to do.
Now, Emma, I have a quick question. Now, this is actually to all the dancers out here. You said that you compete, and I also compete ballroom dancing. The biggest question right now is dancing a sport? What's your opinion on that?
I think dancing is definitely a sport. You can compete in it, and you get the same kind of benefits from sports that, you get the same benefits from dance as you can with other sports, but you are also allowed to express yourself a lot, so it's a bit more.
How about you, Carol? What do you think?
Is dance a sport?
Yes.
It is everything a sport is.
Everything a sport is.
It's incredibly well-tuned muscles, bodies, brains, execution, technique, and coordination. But on top of that, it is the artistry that Emma was just speaking to. Now, it's a way of expressing. So if I asked Emma to do a very edgy hip-hop piece, she has to find a place where she can express that with anger. Emma recently played Our Clara and Our Nutcracker, which is not the typical Clara in a pink frou-frou outfit and a little girl. She's a very angry, angst teenager. So our Clara, Emma, had to do a pretty angry, upset solo until when she realized that her sisters were, playing around with her stuff.
So it's a lot of acting also now.
It's acting layered into your body. So now my whole body has to express anger or frustration, or, for instance, Julia Broderick recently did a lyrical piece that she was speaking about. This is a style that she loves and is very good at. She was dancing a swan, and which is typically done with feathers and a tutu. Her swan was in a black velvet evening gown, and her swan had to evolve and dissolve, just like the other swan.
So it's very interpretational.
Yeah, and they both have a way to find that. On top of it, the huge rigors that a sports, that any athlete would have as well.
I completely agree.
So what makes your dance studio different from any other dance studio in the Metro West area?
I love doing what I was just explaining, finding the passion within, say, Julia or Emma, and being able to feed that and guide it and give it the strength to find its voice. So a strong technique, and then knowing that Julia has a singing background. So I think that's great. Julia, let's put in some singing on top of when she was the Nutcracker, and she also played Clara. She had like a rock solo and then into her dance. Once you have sort of like the vocabulary, you can write any story. So we give them a strong technique and then find out where they want us to take it.
I like that, the assimilation with making a vocabulary and then making it your own story. I like that. That's
right. So the more words I know, the more stories I can tell.
Right.
The more different stories I can tell, you know. And we try to start at a very young age by keeping the stories engaged. The young one wants to just tell that same story, Cinderella and Snow White and Sleeping Beauty, and keep them on that path of learning the technique and telling the story.
Well, I have to thank all of you, Julia, Emma, and Carol. Thank you very much for being on the show. And when we come back, two YBA reporters will be talking to the new CEO of the Princeton Review when we come back to Wicked Teen.
This is Carol Sereda from Sereda Danceworks, and I want to thank my dancers, Isabella, Caitlin, Ellie, Maya, Emma, and Julia. For more information about classes, go online at seretadanceworks.com. Tendu, curtsy, tendu, and close.
Hi, I'm Julia from YBA. For the past few years, I've been coming to the YBA training studios once a week or so. I'm so excited that now I'll be able to practice my broadcast skills with YBA Online. The new course has so much more than what we have learned at the studio. You can practice your delivery by recording a video with a simple click. You can even use a teleprompter to practice reading off that. I learned about the history of the industry and some of the greatest names in the business. You know what though? It was really a lot of fun. And there are some really funny videos, like the one of Jimmy Young doing his crazy warm-up exercises.
The next thing we want you to do is actually stretch the facial muscles in your face, which is a good place for facial muscles.
Or the one from Friends, and of course, all those crazy tongue twisters.
Betty Botter bought a bit of butter.
The butter Betty Botter bought was a bit bitter.
And made her batter bitter.
But a bit of better butter bought batter better.
So Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter, making Betty Botter's bitter batter better.
Best of all though, I can practice my writing and reading from home on my schedule. And I can get coaching from one of the many professional broadcasters on staff. YBA Online allows me to learn by doing the job of a broadcaster every day if I want to. And you will have all the tools. For now, I'm Julia reporting about YBA Online.